Hello and welcome to Lakers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Esco, and today we're going to talk about the Lakers possibly getting rid of Mike D'Antoni. We're going to talk about the possibility of who they're going to get in the draft. We're going to talk about the possible hiring. If Mike D'Antoni does get fired, who will they hire? So without further ado, let's get started. So after the championship tournament, we had a whole bunch of rumors flying about Kevin Ollie, John Calipari. Most recently, what happened today, we have Rex Chapman, a former Kentucky player. He tweeted just yesterday, he said, and I quote, was messing around Saturday night. Cal, but word is win or lose, it's done deal. Cal to La La Land to coach Mamba's Lakers. Hashtag no BS. Now, I don't know how much you can put into that. I don't know if you can really say if he's, knows the team like the back of his hand, knows what's going on, knows Calipari. But he is a former Kentucky player. I don't really know how much you can take into that, but he does know what he's talking about somewhat. I really want him. I mean, he'd be a really good coach for the Lakers. We'll have to see. Another coach on the possible hiring for the Lakers is Kevin Ollie. Kevin Ollie was amazing in the tournament. Outcoached several great coaches. Tom Izzo, Billy Donovan, Calipari even. He outcoached every single one of them, and his stock is just through the roof. I think he's going to be definitely considering the NBA. This is not a time in the 80s where coaches would just stay on one team forever, like a Calhoun, a Boeheim. This is a new era where players and coaches are going to go wherever they please. Players would transfer when things get tough, a la Roscoe Smith with the whole UConn UNLV thing. I bet he's, regretting that right now. But, I really think that Kevin Ollie is going to move. I just think that it's a time right now. The Lakers are doing really bad. They can give him as much money as he wants, and you'll be a lot more well known in Lakerland than you are in, Storrs, Connecticut. You get your name out there. You'll always be you'll always be very popular in the LA scene. A good reason why we're talking about this is partly due to Mike D'Antoni's poor coaching. He's got to be one of the worst coaches in Lakers history. And, he is so terrible. He doesn't change his style with different players. He sticks with the same style, run up and down the court, and that's what killed him last year. He had old players smelling like Ben Gay going up and down the court, and it just didn't work. It didn't work. He didn't change his style with the players he had. It works a little bit now this year because he has younger players he can put into the mix, like a Xavier Henry and a Wesley Johnson and players like that, a Ken Bazemore. But last year was a joke. And I'm just stunned they made the playoffs last year because of Mamba's great excellence in crunch time. But you take that away and they're not making the playoffs at all. And this year, they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. They can't stop anybody at all. And if they do win, they're shootouts. It's a 117-105 game. It's the last basket who scores wins. And that's not how games are supposed to be won. They're supposed to be won in a defensive. When you have a defensive effort, when you actually try to stop somebody, and not say, "Come right through in the lane," come right through, please come through. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that how terrible he is on defense. You would think he would change his style of coaching because he was so terrible at defense in Phoenix. That's why they never got to the finals, because of how terrible he was on defense. They were a great offensive unit, a great unit, scoring several points a game. But when it came down to crunch time in the playoffs, he never could get over the hump because he was so terrible defensively that they just, struggled when it mattered the most. And it was the same with the Knicks. But he never went that far with the Knicks as he did the Suns because he had a lot better players with the Suns. But it was still the same. They never made it to the top because you can't make it to the top without defense. And he has none. He doesn't coach it at all. He'll say, oh, I've coached defense. Well, if you coach defense, your defense would be better and they wouldn't be giving up 107 points a game. Every game I watch, it's 107 points, 107 points, 114 points. Can we play a little defense here? Because that's what you need to win championships. And if the Lakers' front office doesn't see that, then I don't know what else there is to see. Because you're watching a coach who just doesn't play defense. And he was their hire over Phil Jackson. Really? Phil Jackson. You're not going to hire Phil Jackson over a coach who eventually will be a WNBA coach. That's what he is right now. He's real close to becoming a WNBA coach. He's that terrible. So you're going to hire him over Phil Jackson. That's where it pretty much ended for the Lakers. The Chris Paul trade next started it, and hiring Mike D'Antoni over Phil Jackson pretty much, was the end. Now, they have a good draft class coming up, and they will definitely be in the lottery this year. Some players to look out for: Julius Randle, Aaron Gordon, Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker, Marcus Smart. Those are some good players that the Lakers have to be considering. Because you need players who can play defense. Now, Jabari isn't one of those players, but he is an absolutely gifted offensive player. And when it comes to the Lakers, they need a defensive presence. I don't know if they're going to have to do that in the free agency, but they're going to have to do something defensively. And everybody's been talking about, this Kevin Love trade or this Kevin Love in free agency is going to be unbelievable. Well, wait a second. He might be really prolific in the offensive side of the court, but what does he do defensively? Oh, nothing. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't do anything. I mean, he'll get a couple blocks here and there, but nothing consistently. Nothing where he gets, a block a game, 2 blocks a game. Yeah, he'll give you those rebounds. He'll give you those points, but he's not going to give you those blocks. He's not going to give you those box outs for defensive rebounds. He'll give you those offensive rebounds. He'll give you those nice, tip and dunks. He'll give you those, but he'll not give you those, lockdown defensive player blocking 5 blocks a game. So everybody's been talking about, this Kevin Love deal is, going to happen and this is going to be so great for the Lakers. I'm sure it would, but it'll probably hurt us defensively also. And nobody's talking about that. So, and also, Kevin Love, he is a great player, but, you would think somebody that great would get a little bit of help in Minnesota. Ricky Rubio is you need a lot more than just Ricky Rubio to get to the playoffs, and they've struggled and not pleasing their free agent is just extremely shocking to me. You've seen what the Cavs done, giving him little help with LeBron James, and you see it here with Minnesota, and now you're going to see him possibly leave next summer, and that's just a shame. You have a great organization, the Timberwolves. Well, I wouldn't say great. A great leadership, and you have a good coach in Rick Allman, a really underrated coach, and you just waste all his coaching ability with terrible players you have to help Kevin Love. Ricky Rubio, who is most of the times injured, and a whole bunch of ancillary parts. No other superstars, just ancillary parts. And that's not winning championships. That's not. So of course he's going to leave to a place. He's not going to resign. I would be absolutely stunned if he resigned, because they have not done anything to help his chances of getting to a championship in all the years he's been with the Timberwolves. That being said, I do like his chances of going to the Lakers, because they're going to probably trade Pau Gasol. He's getting up there, or not going to trade. They're going to let him go free agency. Let's let him test the waters, and they're going to replace him with Kevin Love. He's a little younger than Pau Gasol. I do like that about him. He's a freak offensively, and that's incredible. But do remember, he's below average defensively. So the draft is a couple months from now. Hopefully the Lakers could get a good pick. I like them picking a Marcus Smart, a Wiggins. I really like Wiggins. I love Wiggins. I love Shabazz Napier. Shabazz Napier has really gone off the draft boards in this tournament. I love all those players for the Lakers to select. But we don't know if the Lakers are going to pick those, because the Lakers are poor in the management division. They are subpar, with Jim Buss being about as smart as a yardstick. And if he can pull the trigger on some free agent moves and a good draft and getting the gears rolling, I like their chances. And get rid of their head coach. They absolutely have to get rid of their head coach. Can't believe I forgot that. They have to get rid of their head coach. If they don't get rid of their head coach, you can forget everything they just did, because they're not going to play defense. They're not going to play defense. So it wouldn't matter if you got the best player, LeBron James. Oh, yeah, people are going to be, whoa, what do you mean? They got LeBron James. Well, yeah, that's great. But who did LeBron have in Cleveland? Oh, yeah, that's right, Mike Brown. Yeah, how's he doing? Yeah. So it wouldn't matter if the Lakers did get LeBron for some odd reason, or some amazing turn of events. If they got LeBron, it wouldn't matter if they still had Mike D'Antoni. Because if they still had Mike D'Antoni and they had LeBron James, you know where they would be? The 8th or the 7th seed, or, maybe the 1st seed. But you know what? They wouldn't make the finals, because eventually no defense comes to hurt you right where it hurts. Because you have to play defense in this league if you want to win any championships. Alright. This has been real great. I'll be putting this video on my Facebook page. If you want to go on my Facebook page, you can subscribe to me on YouTube. You can search this video. You can search Lakers Talk 406 2014. You can find me on Google Plus. Just search Jack Esco and I'll put that on there. And follow me on Twitter at #1 Jack Esco. So this has been real good. Next Monday, or next Tuesday it is, I'll be having another episode of Lakers Talk. We'll be talking about free agency. Who are they going to get? Who should they get? And should they just wait for next year's free agent class? We're also going to talk about the possible of how good Kobe's going to be when he comes back from his surgery. Is he going to be any good? What's going to happen? It's like a mystery. Is he going to be good? Is it going to be the old Kobe, or is he going to be the new Kobe? Like the better Kobe? I don't know. We'll find out next week on Lakers Talk. And don't forget, go Lakers.